This is Sean McVay with Sean's Outdoor Adventures, and in this video I'm going to go over my setup for this year. I keep getting questions about my setup, so that's why I'm going to quick film this video today and then post it for you. But I think I'm going to start with the arrows and then I'll go on to the bow. Alright, so if you've been following my channel, you may have seen the arrow series where I built arrows for this year. This is the Kinetic Pierce by Gold Tip. It's a thin diameter arrow. I went through all the trouble to build these, and I built them for before the season. I was using this Bowtech, what was it now, Revolt X. I bought it secondhand last year, and both the top and the bottom cam system, the shimming component of it, you turn a little screw here, and that's how you move the cam for shimming it. Well, the screws had stripped out on both, so I had to get them replaced. And you could tell Bowtech kind of upgraded the whole system because it was different when I got the new ones. Well, right before the season started, it seized up. I went to adjust it, and it completely locked to the point where when I twisted it, it didn't strip out. It actually twisted the Allen wrench to a pretzel. I mean, I was like, oh my goodness. So I couldn't finish tuning this to shoot it with fixed blade broadheads. So I went to the Dragon 10, which is what's sitting here. Now, when I built these arrows, I built them for the Bowtech, which needed a left helical curve because of the way the arrows come off of that bow. The Dragon 10 needs a right helical curve, so I built all these arrows, and I was like, I'm not going to use them because the helical's facing the wrong way. So I had arrows laying around. By the way, if you're wondering the total weight shooting a 100 grain tip, 434 grains for that. And the arrows that I'm shooting with the Dragon 10, if you've been watching my videos, I have blown through all 3 deer that I've shot so far. The arrow weight is 414 grains, shooting a Rage Hypodermic. The reason why I'm shooting the Rage Hypodermic and not a fixed blade is because I actually could not get fixed blade broadheads to fly right out of this bow. And I had the same issue with the Bear Alaskan last year. The only thing I can conclude is with this hybrid cam system and the huge cam, it creates difficulty at long draw length for a fixed blade broadhead as far as tuning goes. I ran out of time to play with it before the season started, so I was like, you know what? I've got several packs of these Rage laying around that I bought on sale years ago. I got them for like $21 a pack. So I bought several packs to have on hand. And so I've just been using those up right now, but I do prefer to use a fixed blade broadhead. Somebody asked me that. So right now, the arrows that I've been shooting out of the Dragon 10 are actually older arrows that I'm, again, just using up since I had them on hand. These are Easton Flatlines 340 spine. I'm shooting at about 63 to 65 pounds, somewhere right around there. I have the V Pro limb driver rest on it, so and I'm using a Trophy Ridge sight. This is I forget the name of it. This one has the bottom pin. You could twist this and go out. You could sight it out to 100 yards. I only have it sighted up to 40 yards because I don't plan to shoot any farther than that at a deer. So right now that's where that's at. I am using my Bee Stinger sidebar stabilizer on the bow, and I have my homemade rig for my GoPro camera. Somebody actually commented on one of my videos saying, oh, you got that Tacticam working really well. I'm going to be honest, I switched to GoPro because the image stabilization in GoPro is just phenomenal. And I mean, there's times where I've spun this around and I've talked into it and I know my hand's moving, but it doesn't look like it in the footage because the image stabilization in the GoPros right now is off the charts compared to other cameras that I've used. So the main bow that I'm using right now is this Dragon 10. I have another Dragon 10 that I'm setting up. I haven't had time to finish messing with it, but I am going to try to get that one tuned up for fixed blade broadheads. And so that's the story there. Now, one other thing I wanted to address, because I've been what I call hybrid hunting. I hunt with a saddle, and you know, it doesn't matter what stand or platform or whatever. I hunt with a saddle no matter what. I got rid of my harness. The saddle that I have was given to me by the good folks over at Tethered. I've had this for years. There's a lot of things I like about it, and there's some things I think you know, if I ever get a chance to look into it, I would want something that comes down farther. Like this just doesn't cut my bottom side well enough. Like when I'm wearing it, it's kind of, the bottom is like up in here rather than down in here, and I've tried all different types of adjustments. It just really doesn't ride on my body the way that is optimally comfortable, and so I would need a longer netting in the back. Maybe just have a long torso and all that, so everything's stretched out. I don't have a big butt, obviously, but it's maybe, I don't know. But that's what, so anyway, I'm using this. Now they do have an this is the Phantom. They have an adjustable bridge. I never adjust it. Right there is where my bridge is at. When you do like one stick climbing method, you need a lot of ability to reach, so you need a shorter bridge. And so I kind of adopted that when I was doing one stick climbing method, and I just leave it there. It works fine for me. So as far as tree stand, again, people are asking me what I'm using. Primarily, it's my good old Lone Wolf Climbers hand climber. I have a little bow hook on here that I've had there. I've had this stand for probably 18 years. I have a bow holder that, this is probably 20 years old. I just screwed it on, bolted it on there. I have a little loop right here that I tie, or I clip my bow hoist to anytime I'm going up. So I'll climb up to my location, clip my, my bow hoist will be clipped on there, pull the bow up, and then I'll wheel up my bow hoist. It's a crank one. And then I usually just let it hang right here. It just hangs right there while I'm hunting. If it's really windy, I'll take it off, but usually it's calm enough. I just let it hang there. And that's pretty much it. Now, why are you using a climber, you might be thinking. I did, if you saw the video, I did cut a Lone Wolf platform down. I cut like this much off just to see if it saved a lot of weight. So when you use just a platform without the seat, I think it was like 8 pounds. When you have the full setup like what you're looking at here, I think it's around 15 pounds. And really, what it comes down to for me, I want the highest quality shot at a deer that I can get. If it means I carry 7 more pounds with me into the forest because I have a lot more foot room, it's easier for me to spin around and make a good shot, then I'm going to man up and carry 7 more pounds. That's what I got to. Like, I was doing all this stuff to cut weight, and these little saddle platforms, it's awkward to shoot off of them, and I want a quality shot. I don't want to be struggling to make a good shot. So I was like, forget it. I'm going to man up. I'm going to carry more weight. And when you get a deer, it's time to go to work. You just man up and get the job done. If you have to carry 10 extra pounds or 20 extra pounds, then that's what you do. I'm just kind of countercultural in the sense that, I'm not going to obsess about it. If you want to cut weight and be the lightest possible, go ahead and do it. I like the saddle as opposed to a full body harness because it's easier to get a quality shot when you don't have like this thing coming off the back of your neck and sometimes getting in the way when you're trying to draw. So the one thing about having a saddle and the tree stand, I'm just interjecting, is that you can spin around and face the other way sitting in the saddle, which I've needed at times, or you can turn around and sit down. You just lengthen the tether and sit down on the stand. So it enhances comfortableness as well. I do want to mention my arrow one more time. So I'm just going to pick up this one. The other one's in my quiver. So my other one that I'm shooting a Rage hypodermic with, yeah, it's not my preference. Mechanical broadheads are not my preference. Although I will say, you can watch all 3 videos. I blasted through the deer and stuck deeply into the ground with all 3 shots using a light arrow. It's 414 grain total weight with a expandable broadhead. Again, I'm just a countercultural guy. Like, there's people who are so obsessed with high FOC and heavy arrows. If you want to do that, go right ahead. But I will tell you from personal experience, some of those setups are way overboard. You don't need it. And I'm living proof. Now, yes, I do have a very long draw length. I'll just take one back out here so I can hold it up. I have a very long draw length, 31.5-inch draw length. So that does give me a lot more speed and power in my shots. With every inch of draw length, you tend to increase about, 8 feet per second, sometimes 10 feet per second, sometimes 6, but you tend to increase speed, but also how much force you're providing. So I've got a lot of driving force, and as you can see, it's a long arrow. That's a lot of arrow to put through a deer, and I have been blowing through the deer with the Dragon 10 by San Lita. It is a fairly fast bow. It's providing good power, and it's, if you want to pass through shot, I'm getting pass through shots with an expandable broadhead and a 414 grain arrow. So again, I just say that because I'm a hunter and I do what works, and this works. Like, when I get time, I am going to work on getting this bow tuned up. I got several packs of G5 Montex that I bought for this year, intending to use them. I'm going to use them. I'm not going to waste my money. I'm a cheap dude. I'm going to use them up. I'd prefer to use fixed blade, like I said. When I'm shooting with an expandable, I'm very picky about my shot angles. I won't shoot unless I have basically a broadside shot. I'm not taking any downward shots. I'm not taking any like real awkward shots. Broadside shot, I'm going to take it. So I do reduce my shot opportunities when using an expandable broadhead like this by choice, because these can cause problems with penetration when you hit a major bone like a backbone or the thick part of a shoulder blade. So anyhow, that's my setup for the year. I know people keep asking me, so that's my sharing on it. I will mention once again, I'm set up here. This is where I've been recording my new podcast called Faith and the Outdoors. I will provide a link for that in the description section if you want to check that out. It involves me sharing the Catholic faith and outdoor-related topics. So I'm Sean McVeigh, Sean's Outdoor Adventures. Until next time, take care and God bless.